Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to speak about trans rights once again. And some people are going to be thinking I'm beating this this dead horse with a stick. And it's not a dead horse. It's a live and kicking horse. It's a viable and important topic that we should be discussing right now, every single day, until every American has the rights and privileges and civil liberties of everybody else. And another reason I talk about this is because I can. It's safe for me to talk about it. I am not in danger by talking about this. I am not a trans person, and I am not at risk of being beaten or killed because I'm speaking about trans rights and because I'm trying to stand up for my trans brothers and sisters. It is safe for me to discuss it. And as a cisgender person, there are cisgender people that will listen to my words when they will completely and utterly ignore the words of trans people. Now, as most people probably know by now, there has been a letter issued from the federal government telling schools that they must afford trans girls and boys the same access to bathrooms and locker rooms that they do to cis children. And the trans kids can go to whatever bathroom they feel aligns with their particular gender identity. And this has a lot of people up in arms. And there's a quote here in the Metafilter discussion that I'm going to read to you that I thought was very cogent. The anti-trans point of view is such that trans children experiences are not afforded a place in this discussion or negotiations. It is an intentional effort by the architects of the anti-trans political efforts in this country to create such a dominant cis-centric model of the world that it becomes very easy for people who are not trans to forget for a moment that trans children actually have lived experiences that deserve comment. So it is not by accident that it's easy to forget that trans children are in the discussion. It's baked into the program that anti-trans political actors, have put forth in something we all need to pay close attention to inside ourselves when discussing these matters. So the point this person's trying to make is that when they're always talking about, we must think of the children, guess what, folks? Trans kids are someone's child, and their civil liberties and human rights must be protected as well as the civil rights and civil liberties and human rights of cis children. Now, the big thing has been we're not protecting women and girls because if a trans woman goes into a woman's restroom or locker, that they are convinced, socially conservative bigots are convinced that she somehow poses a threat to women and girls, except she doesn't, because she poses no more threat than any other woman or girl in that bathroom. And they constantly misgender trans women by saying that they are men and boys, but they are not. Someone else's genitals are none of your business. If someone does in fact commit a crime, then fine. You file charges against them. You treat them like a suspected criminal. But a trans woman or girl is no more of a threat to any other woman or girl in that restroom or that locker room than any other woman. That's the reality. There are no trans women attacking and molesting women and girls in locker rooms and restrooms. It isn't happening. It is a myth, an evil, sick, vile, twisted myth, trying to impose a socially conservative worldview upon the world at large. And these laws also mean that trans women and girls are being forced into men's rooms and men's locker rooms, where we know they suffer the risk of being beaten and killed for merely existing in the same space that is being considered a masculine space. A trans woman or a trans girl walking into a men's locker room or a men's room in public, a restroom, is running the risk of being beaten or killed. But socially conservative people don't seem to give a shit about this. Because as far as they're concerned, trans people are not people. They are things. They are warped objects. They are broken. And that is vile. That is stomach turning. That is enraging. And remember, these socially conservative people are the same ones that when a woman steps forward or a girl steps forward and said they have been harassed or they have been assaulted or raped will not believe them. They will ask, what were you wearing? Why were you there? Were you drunk? Did you know the person? They will do everything possible to undermine the narrative of that survivor and downplay what happened to them so that they can ignore what happened. And yet, the mythical women and girls that are in public restrooms and lockers are suddenly placed on these ivory towers where if a trans woman barely glances at them, somehow they have been defiled. But real women and girls that have come forward and said, hey, I've been harassed or assaulted or raped, the social conservatives want nothing to do with them. Heck, we have rape kits that socially conservative sheriffs are throwing away because they don't want to test them because they think that most women lie about rape. So don't give me the bullshit that this is about safety. This is the wedge issue that's going to get the social conservative out there with their pitchforks and their torches and getting them to vote in November. They lost on marital equality. So gay people are off the board now. So they needed a new political game piece to use. And they've chosen trans people. They've chosen trans students. Now, some people have said, well, why don't we have a third bathroom? Some schools are actually converting faculty bathrooms into unisex bathrooms, but that doesn't work either. Do you know why? That's separate but equal. And we don't do that crap in America. There is no separate but equal in America. Title IX says that we cannot discriminate along the lines of sex. And that's what this is. And if you hear any social conservative misgendering someone, you correct them. A trans person that says they're a woman is a woman. A trans person that says they are a man, they are a man. A trans person that says they are genderqueer, then they're genderqueer. Their genitals has nothing to do with you. Social conservatives are really fixated on the genitals of other people. I would go so far as to say that I am about 1% as interested in the genitals of my fellow human beings as your average social conservative. They have a really warped worldview when it comes to other people's genitals. They really want to know what someone else's genitals look like. And it is just absolutely and utterly disgusting. Stop fixating on the genitals of other human beings. They are none of your business. If someone wants to go into the bathroom and use a stall, wash their hands and leave, let them. And there are trans men out there that look like me. Except some of them are in far better shape than me. And if I walked into a woman's room, there's going to be a lot of controversy. And if a lot of trans men are forced into women's rooms, there's going to be a lot of controversy. And we are already seeing cisgender women being harassed in bathrooms because they are androgynous or they are more masculine than some ways decided they should be to be in this restroom that they're supposed to be using according to these laws. Instead of just letting everybody use the restroom they want. Trans people are not a risk to you in public restrooms. Period. They aren't. So stop pretending they are. Stop pretending this is about protection and safety, and realize this is nothing more than a political move where they're putting trans people's lives on the line just to generate a few more votes in November. This is naked, ugly politicking at its worst. This is fear-mongering at its worst. Don't fall for it. And if you are a socially conservative person watching this video, stop fixating on the genitals of other people. It's none of your frigging business. I don't care about your genitals. I don't want you caring about my genitals. I don't want you caring about anybody else's genitals. Just leave them alone. Let them go do their business. Let them wash their hands. Let them go on their way. Is that too much to ask? Or are you just going to decide that your worldview, your discussion, and your decisions about someone else's genitals, about someone else's bathroom habits, is more important than their civil liberties and human rights? Because if that is your position, then you were morally bankrupt. And you were utterly unethical. And you are a danger to the fabric of America. not trans people. So stop it. Leave the trans people alone. Our trans brothers and sisters deserve the same rights, the same liberties as anybody else.